Like Bloodshot all over again.
Oh, God, don't remind me of that.
But Eliza Gonzalez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Cinema. It's been a while.
Yeah, we're back.
It's been a long time. It's been 2 months since Scooby-Dooby Cinematic Universe came out. My name is Tyler.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Ethan.
We're here. We're talking about a movie. We're still stuck in the Corona apocalypse. But hey, this okay movie, Project Power, came out on Netflix with Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and everyone's favorite YouTuber, Casey Neistat.
Oh, gross.
And thank God for that.
Project Power is a Netflix original movie. They just had a real big budget, like probably one of the biggest budget Netflix movies, and like, you want to use this budget on a bunch of superhero special effects and not an actual movie? And they were like, yeah, sure. Let's, so basically, you pop a pill, you get superhero powers for 5 minutes, because that's all they could afford in the budget is about 5 minutes of superhero CGI, and that's the movie. There's not a lot to spoil in this movie, because we actually just rewatched the trailer for refresh ourselves on the movie, and we're so glad that we watched the movie before the trailer, because if you watch the trailer, you watched the movie.
I'll start on this one. So I'm going to start with this note that I took about a very specific scene. So I'm going to be there's this scene where Jamie Foxx's character, what's his name again?
His name is Art.
Art.
Forgot to mention that. His name is Art. Not Art is short for, like, Fartimus Fowl. Like, his name is just Art.
So, Art is trying to infiltrate this super secret meeting that is going on, and he goes inside this shop and goes to the back room where there's one guard. Only one guard at the door, and he beats up this guard and gets inside, and there's like this huge drug cartel audience watching this guy present the power pills and everything, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean, there was that one guy he stabbed on an ice sculpture that I'm pretty sure would have broken before it stabbed somebody.
And then ends up with the weird, like, crazy straw blood sequence.
Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, can we talk about that for a second?
Let's.
So, Jamie Foxx gets approached by a guard, and then is like, oh yeah, I'm just supposed to hear it, and stabs him on a freaking ice sculpture.
Through the jugular.
Jugular. So then this guy's bleeding out on the outside of the ice sculpture, because it stabbed him. Then later, this lady comes over to the ice sculpture, and it turns out there's like a little water spigot in it, and she turns it on, and blood starts coming out of it.
And you watch, and you can see the blood working its way from one end of the ice sculpture to the other like a crazy straw.
What I'm trying to understand about that sequence and that idea, so is it just like an ice sculpture and they just jammed a spigot in there and like, it'll melt, you get some water, and then it'll be gone. So get it while you can. Or is it just like Jamie Foxx like stabbed him and then is like, all right, let's just funnel the blood into the... So then somebody else in a few minutes can have like a... Oh! And they
There's blood! Yeah, so... Yeah, my point is, 2 guards, maybe. A guard and a half this whole time. So that was my super outrageous thing that I saw. I'm like, what the heck? It's just stupid. So.
I would like to talk most about the powers in the movie. Because the premise of the movie is that the glowy pills that they never fully explain how they work, you just twist them and all of a sudden you get a little storm inside the glowy pill and then you swallow it.
How does that work? Okay, sorry.
Good question. It doesn't. No, the premise is that the pills are all taken from gene therapy done on animals, so that way it mimics animals' powers. And believe it or not, that results in like a couple cool villains and sequences. The invisibility aspect we use in kind of a different way, where it's more like Cuttlefish, where he's like blending into the backgrounds of things as he runs by, and you can still kind of see him, but you see like it changing with a slight delay as he runs by. It's kind of a cool thing, even though we do see his dong.
Chameleon dong.
And beyond that, it's all just these weird inconsistent powers that are just like, hey, you want to see a guy get big and gross?
Hey, fire guy. That's an animal, right?
And they excuse a guy who can light himself on fire, a la the Human Torch levels of fire. He literally lights himself on fire, just like the chick from Frozen apparently freezes things in this movie.
They even said that. It's just like Frozen.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
But my point is that, like, what animals did those? No animals can do those things. Like, there's one dude who can just punch things real good, and that's different from the big bulgy guy who can punch things real good.
And
How,
Joseph
like,
Gordon-Levitt's just like bulletproof. What
Yeah.
animal is bulletproof?
well, I mean, they could argue, like, scales or something, because you see, like, the scales grow across his eye.
yeah, but if I shot
like,
a snake, that's a dead snake.
No, for sure. For sure. But again, it comes down to, like, the fact that they don't even, like, try to explain it. They never
Yeah.
even try to say what animal does that.
I think it's funny because Spencer and Ethan were both like pretty focused on a lot of the like story elements and like the world building of this movie. For me, I just was watching this and the cinematography made me nauseous. It was like because like basically like it's a new thing in Hollywood and TV where people are experimenting with like wide angle shots. That's like if you watch The Umbrella Academy, nearly all of that is shot on wide angle lenses, but it actually like looks good. Like it's a unique form of cinematography. This movie, they're like, all right, we're just gonna like slap a fisheye lens on our camera and do a 360 corkscrew with the camera, but not fast, like as slow as possible, zooming in on a character. So you just get this really uncomfortable like
Like a swirly effect.
It's like zooming in and it's turning, and you're not sure if it's turning because there's something wrong with your head, like you got a migraine or something.
It's
and
like
you're
Vertigo.
So
it looks like if you were like to have your head shoved inside a toilet and a swirly done on you, and you were watching the
movie
phone
through that.
well, through that, yeah.
It's really weird. Did not like it. The soundtrack? I know this movie is meant to be like urban neighborhood. It takes place in like Louisiana, so like drugs and all that. So they're like, let's put lots of gangster rap in it. And I understand that. But when your entire movie's soundtrack is gangster rap during the quiet parts of the movie and then during the action part it just goes like that's the whole soundtrack for the movie. What I think, like, watching this movie, I really think that it was kind of like, I feel like there was a good idea there, and then they're like, but, you know what? No offense to everyone else in the world, but pretty common folk watch Netflix, and so they're like, all right, so how are we going to get as many people to watch this Netflix movie as possible? How are we going to relate to them? I've got it. We'll just have lots of explosions, lots of music, and like lots of CGI. So they blew their load on like their soundtrack to get lots of like popular artists. They blew their load on these 5-minute superhero sequences, and they blew their load on Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And then the rest of the movie they just tossed out the window. They're like, we've got all the things.
We've got the ingredients, boys.
We've got the ingredients. Like we can make a good movie, and then that's how we got Project Power. You just put it in a bowl and just like shake it up real good, and that's
sugar
the movie.
and spice, everything nice.
Except it's like sugar, spice, rap, and pretty crappy CGI.
Yeah. Another thing is this is going to be talking about the end of the movie, which, like Ethan said before, was spoiled in the trailer, so don't even worry about it. Toward the end of the movie, Art and gang are trying to escape the ship that his daughter was trapped on, and I don't know about you guys. I didn't feel any anxiety whatsoever about them making it. Like,
No.
I felt like, okay, yeah, these guys are gonna make it. And even when that bad lady who was the head honcho, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that
Who was
a
only
dude
introduced
named
the last
Biggie.
5
Yeah.
minutes. Biggie was tumor guy.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty.
Get it? Because he's big. Biggie.
It was pretty unclear to me who was the actual villain person, but I felt
Corporation.
like there was zero stakes. There were no stakes in this. It was super easy, barely an inconvenience to defeat this lady and the army with Jamie Foxx's big blowy uppy moment. And then
How did he turn the pill in his mouth?
he's
They
got skills.
They show it.
It's like,
Okay,
but he's
so
it's
like,
like tying a cherry stem in your mouth.
But he does it between his teeth because
Yeah.
he wants
Oh.
to show them that he's doing it. So he's got the pill between his teeth, and then he's just like,
it's like, what?
Just dislocate your jaw,
that's what he did. He just dislocated his jaw and then just like
Well,
twisted it real
well,
quick.
you see-
This is a really stupid gripe with this movie. But I'm sorry, I do not believe for a second that Jamie Foxx was holding that pill in his mouth for the last 45 minutes of the movie.
Honestly.
Because
Also-
he shows it to somebody
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, hey, look what I got.
And it's just assumed he still has it tucked under his tongue. or
because there's no
something.
way he was delivering those lines with, you give me back my dollar.
And don't forget how pills work. There's supposed to be a thin sugar membrane that dissolves easily in your stomach so it can be activated.
But that also was like a little robot pill. That thing looks like it's made of steel.
So, like,
Yeah, it had
but
a
like,
little
how does that
volcano in
change
it.
your body? Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
It
Anyways,
had a little gassy cloud in there. Anyways.
no, there was no tension to it.
Yeah, no. And even at the end, after all the bad guys are dead, and it's like, oh no, Art isn't gonna make it, and then his daughter comes up, healing powers. Like, there's no consequences at all. Like, I thought maybe for a second she would give her life to save her father's, but no. Everyone's okay. It was easy. 1, 2, 3, snap. Boom.
Well, and as well, they stopped the person with making the pills, but there's still like 50 drug dealers pushing this crap on the streets.
Honestly.
Like,
So like, they're still gonna have to deal with it for a solid year.
And that's where I'm thinking I can smell a sequel.
Oh,
is
no.
because this is just the boat where they were selling stuff from. There's a corporation behind this, so we might be seeing that in the future.
But speaking to what Spencer said, Jamie Foxx dies at the end of the movie for a second.
Like
and it's a good thing that Jamie Foxx, because he was being tested on so much, it's a good thing he ended up having like a radioactive ball sack that resulted in a daughter that can
bring
heal
him back to life.
heal
Yeah.
things, you know, like my favorite animal, the giraffe can. And and
All I'm gonna
so-
say is I was really mad that they didn't smooch and then she just turned into like a ghost and was gone.
What the heck? That,
Star Wars.
that would have been a real twist. My goodness.
I mean, that clearly made for such a great ending to the Rise of
did.
Skywalker.
Wow.
Like, why not do it
Incredible.
again?
Oh, so good.
If you're in for like what we were, where we're just super bored and we're in for some dumb fun,
and
like,
it was something new
something
after
new,
these starved times.
I think by all means, like, watch it. But if you haven't watched it yet, wait until all the new movies come out this weekend and don't see this.
Yep.
We've got the New Mutants, we've got Bill and Ted, we've got Tenet. Like, there's some good stuff coming
Just
up.
go to bed, man. Like,
Get some rest.
I think what we'll do is we'll kind of just give it a quick rating. We've been during this pandemic. We've kind of been giving it a stream it or skip it, since those are your only two options. But I'm gonna give it a skip it. If it was earlier in the coronavirus thing, I would have said stream it because it was like
but
the
we're
only
so
thing
close.
to watch.
The finish
But
line's
they
in.
waited way too long to release it, so I'm gonna say skip it.
Yeah, no, finish line's in. Finish line is on the horizon. So yeah, I have to give it a skip it too.
Yeah, same exact reasons with movies coming to theaters soon. I think there's so many better things you could spend your time on than this movie. So also a skip it for me. That's 3 skip it's, baby. You're out.
Cool.
But yeah, so Project Power's out of here, I guess. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. We're back. We're doing more stuff. We're going to be talking about, you'll be seeing a video soon talking about DC fandom and some of our thoughts for the stuff. We're going to try not to talk for too long because there was a lot of stuff there.
There was a lot.
So DC fandom, we'll be talking about that, and then you will be looking forward to hearing from us next week. We're going to be talking about New Mutants and Bill and Ted, and then we've got a early screening of Tenet a few days after that. So it's going to be lots of movies just coming right at you.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then Mulan like the next weekend. So
yeah. Well,
Cool.
I think I think that's all for us on this wonderful movie. But thank you so much for joining and coming with us beyond the cinema.
And just remember, lick a giraffe and you'll be able to heal your dad from explosions. Sometimes drugs aren't always bad.
And that's this movie, baby.